Hello everybody, welcome back to another AP Calculus video. This is Unit 2, Lesson 9, the quotient rule, and we will be doing the practice section of Flip Math's worksheet. Okay, so the quotient rule is similar to the product rule, but instead of finding the derivative of a product, we're going to find the derivative of a quotient. So let's remind ourselves what the derivative of a quotient is. So derivative of v u over v, that's going to equal v u prime minus u v prime over v squared. Okay? That being said, just solve number one. Okay, so first identify your v and your u. So denominator is always v, top is u. So let's do this. So h prime of x equals vu prime. So v u prime. Derivative of u. So u is 4x minus 1. So derivative of 4x is 4. So that is our u prime. So vu prime minus u v prime. Derivative of v prime. Derivative of v is going to be the derivative of 3x plus 2. So that is going to be 3. And all of this over v squared. And so you can simplify. I guess I will simplify. So distribute. So 4 times 3 is 12x. Plus 2 times 4 is plus 8. Okay, and then this is minus. 4x times 3 is 12x. Negative 1 times 3 is minus 3. And then this is over, should have been squared. So over 3x plus 2 squared. Okay, and then we're going to scroll down. 12x minus 12x is 0. 8 minus negative 3 is 11. So our answer is going to be 11 over 3x plus 2 quantity squared. Alright, so that was pretty simple. Again, it's similar to product rule, which is what we did in the previous lesson. But instead, the only difference really is it's the same, right? But instead of plus, it's minus, and then divided by v squared. Okay, next question. So again, identify our v and our u. Okay, g prime of x equals v u prime. Derivative of sine is cosine. Minus u, so minus sine, times derivative of v. Derivative of x is 1 over derivative of v prime. Well, what am I saying? And then we have divided by v squared. So v is x, so x squared. And not much you can do here. It's going to stay, right? There's no simplifying that can be done here. Okay, next question. So we have v and u. However, if you notice, you have 3 terms on top and only 1 on the bottom. They all have x, and so what we can do is we can make each of those terms a fraction, right? With the denominator of 2x, because that's going to make our ability to find a derivative a lot easier. So what do I mean by that? Well, we can rewrite h of x as x cubed over 2x plus 2x squared over 2x minus x over 2x. Okay, rewrite this. X cubed over x, that x cubed becomes squared over 2, so x squared over 2. 2x squared divided by 2x, well, all we're going to be left with is 1x in the numerator, right? So plus x. Then minus x over 2x, x cancel out, so minus 1/2. So here, we don't even need quotient rule, right? Because now we don't have a quotient. We can use power rule. So x squared over 2, power rule, we get 2x. No. We get x. Get x, right? 2 and the 2 cancel out, so we get x. Derivative of x is 1. Derivative of a constant is 0. Okay. So 4, we have h of x equals 4x over ln x. So identifier v and there u. Okay. H prime of x equals v times u prime. So v times u prime. Derivative of u, derivative of 4x, which is 4, right? Minus u, which is 4x, times derivative of ln x, which is 1 over x, divided by ln x. So we can simplify here. So 4 ln x and x cancel out, right? So 4 ln x minus 4 over ln x. And if you pay attention here, this ln x should be squared, right? So don't forget to square your ln x or else your answer will be wrong. Okay. Next, we have f of x equals 3x to the fourth minus 2x squared minus 3 times square root of x over x. Again, this is similar to question 3, where we had multiple terms on top in the numerator and only one term in the denominator. So what we can do is make each term into a fraction. So we don't need quotient rule. So no quotient rule. So we're going to rewrite f of x as 3x to the fourth over x minus 2x squared over x minus 3. And then I'm going to write square root of x as 1/2 over x. There we go. So now we get 3x cubed minus 2x, then minus 3x to the negative half, right? 3x to the negative half, because 1/2, so x to the 1/2 divided by x to the 1 is x to the negative 1/2. Now we can find a derivative. So f prime of x equals power rule, right? 9x squared minus 2, and then that negative 1/2 comes down, so plus 3 over 2, then x to the negative 3 over 2. And there's no need to write as square root here. Okay, next question. G of x equals 2x to the fifth over cosine x. So here we do have quotient rule. So v and u. G prime of x equals v u prime minus u v prime. Derivative of cosine is negative sine x. Okay. Over v squared, so cosine x squared, right? We can't really do much here, so I'm just gonna leave it like that, right? It's nothing you can do to simplify. Okay, v u, so f prime of x equals v u prime. Okay, so for sine of x, which is v, times u prime. So derivative of e to the x is e to the x minus u v prime. Derivative of sine x is cosine x. So 4 cosine x divided by 4 sine of x, right? Because it's our v, and then v squared. Okay, now we're gonna just leave it like this, to be honest. I mean, you could factor out the e to the x, but there's really no point in that for this exercise. Okay, next. F of x equals 2x plus 4 over 3x plus 2, so denominator is v, numerator is u. Okay, f prime of x, vu prime, so v, derivative of 2x plus 4 is 2, minus u, derivative of 3x plus 2 is 3. That's just not really, okay, times 3, okay, divided by v squared. So v squared is going to be 3x plus 2 squared. This equals, and then distribute, 6x plus 4 minus 6x, right? So minus 6x plus 12 over 3x plus 2 squared, and then last step, 6x and then minus 6x cancels out. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 equals negative 8 over 3x plus 2 squared. Okay. Okay. Also, I want to apologize if you hear like this noise in the background. Anyway, number 9, we have g of x equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus x over x squared. So again, we have multiple terms in the numerator, only one in the denominator. So we can, let me fix that. Okay, so you can take individual derivatives, right? So you get the point, right? So we're gonna rewrite g of x. So x cubed over x squared is x. 3x squared over x squared is 3. Negative x over x squared is negative 1 over x. And so g prime of x is derivative of x1, derivative of constant 0, derivative, remember, derivative of 1 over x is negative 1 over x squared. So derivative of negative 1 over x is positive 1 over x squared. And there you go. Alright, for the next couple of questions, we're going to use a table, and we're going to find the derivative of the values of the function, and then we're going to plug in values. So before we plug in values, I'm going to find h prime of t. So g is our v, 5f of x is our u. So h prime of t equals v u prime minus, it's a minus, and u v prime. So that's just not what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then this is divided by g of x squared. So now we can plug in values. And so okay, I'm gonna do this. Slide it right here. Okay, g of x is 2 times 5 times f prime. F prime is 3. Okay, and minus f times 5. So 5 times f of x. So 5 times negative 5 times g prime. So times negative 3. All over g squared. So g is 2. So over 4. So now we're going to reduce this. So 2 times 15 is 30. Minus, okay, 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Negative 25 times negative 3 is 75. So 30 minus negative 75 is 30. Sorry, hold on. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Times negative 3 is positive 75. So positive 75, and then there's a negative, right? So it's minus 75, right? So this and this positive, but this makes it negative. And so 30 minus 75 over 4. That's negative 45 over 4. Okay, next question. Again, we're going to plug in values later. We're going to find m prime of x first. So denominator is v, numerator is u. So v u prime, so derivative of numerator is going to be g prime of x minus u v prime. That is just furthest thing from a straight line. Okay, that's better. And then v squared, so okay. Alright. So I'm gonna plug in values now. 3 times f is going to be 3 times negative 5 times g prime. G prime is negative 3. So that minus g of x plus 2. G of x is 2 plus 2 is 4 times 3 times f prime. 3 times 3 is 9 over 9 times f of x squared. F of x is negative 5. Squared is 25. 9 times 25 is going to be 225. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 times negative 3 is 45. Okay, negative 4 times 9 is negative 36 over 225, and then 45 minus 9 is 9 for 225. That is your answer. I am not going to simplify. Okay, next question, 11. So we have VU, solve for f prime of t. F prime of t is going to be v u prime. So remember it's a negative, so times negative b prime of t minus u. So minus negative b of t is plus b of t times v prime. So 3a prime of t over 9a of t squared. Okay, now we can plug in. So 3 times a is going to be 3 times 2. Negative b prime is going to be negative 1 plus b, which is negative 4, times 3 times a prime, so 3 times negative 3, divided by 9 times a of t squared. A of t is 2, squared is 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, 36. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Negative 4 times negative 9 is going to be plus. Right, so negative 6 plus, okay, so negative 4 times negative 9 is 36, so plus 36 over 36, and we get 30 over 36. This we can simplify, it's a lot easier. Divided by 6, get 5 over 6. Alright, next question. Okay, V, U. So, and from now on, I'm going to write A of t just as A, right? Same thing. So A prime of t is going to be A prime. Then B is going to be, B of t is going to be B. B prime of t is going to be B. Just so I can make things a little bit condensed. So G prime of t equals V. So 2B plus 3 times U prime. So negative A prime minus 1 minus A times V prime. So 2B prime over 2b plus 3 squared. Okay, plug in. B is equal to negative 4, so 2 times negative 4, negative 8, plus 3, negative 5, right? And then times negative A prime, so A prime is negative 3, negative 3 is 3, minus 1 minus A is 2, so 1 minus 2 is negative 1. B prime is 1, so 2 times 1 is 2, divided by, and then, so 2b plus 3, so 2, and then times b is negative 4, so 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, plus 3 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. So we get negative 15 minus negative 2, so plus 2 over 25. 13 with the negative 13 over 25 is going to be our answer. Again, for this new problem, I'm going to do d instead of dx and h instead of hx. Alright, so g prime of x, and then remember, label your v, your u. So, v times u prime minus u v prime over v, that's not, that shouldn't have a prime there. So, over 2 times h squared, right? Plug in values. So 2 times h is 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. Times d prime is negative 2 minus d, so d is negative 4. 2 times h prime is 3, so 2 times 3 is 6, over, over, so 2h squared, right? So 2 times h is 4, so 2 times 4 is 8, squared is 64. Okay, and then now we can do 8 times negative 2, which is negative 16, minus negative 4 times 6, so minus negative 24, which is plus 24 for 64. Negative 16 plus 24 is 8 over 64, which equals 1 over 8. Okay, last one, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so we have V, U. So let's find f prime of x. V times u prime, so negative half d prime minus u v prime over v squared, so 6 minus h squared. Okay, so now we can plug in. Okay, so 6 minus h, h is 4, so 6 minus 4 is 2. Negative 1 half d prime. D prime is negative 2. Negative 1 half times negative 2 is going to be 1. Okay, good so far. Minus 2 minus d over 2. D is negative 4, so 2 minus negative 4 over 2, which is 2 plus 4 over 2, which is 2 plus 2, which is 4. And then times negative h prime. H prime is 3, so times negative 3. Over 6 minus h squared. H is 4, so 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 2 minus negative 12 is going to be 14, and then divided by 4. Simplify, you get 7 over 2. And there we go. Okay. Questions 13 and 14 were asked to find the equation of the tangent line. So again, we should know by now what the equation of the tangent line is. So we're given f of x, we're given the x value, so we have to find our y and then our d dx. Okay, first let's find our y at pi over 3. So sine pi over 3 over cosine pi over 3. Sine pi over 3, so 643 is square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1 half. So that's going to give us square root of 3. Okay. Now we have to find our f prime of pi over 3, but first we have to find our f prime. So we label vu. It's a simple one. So v times u prime, so times derivative of u, which is cosine, minus u times derivative of v, so v prime, which is negative sine x. And so we get cosine. Oh, before I do that, let me not forget to do over v squared. So over cosine x squared equals cosine squared of x plus sine squared x over cosine squared x. And this is equal to, remember the Pythagorean identities? So right here we have one. Cosine squared x plus sine squared x is 1. 1 over cosine squared x. Now we can evaluate, oh, whoops, oh, okay. We can evaluate pi over 3 at that point. So 1 over cosine squared of pi over 3. 1 over cosine squared of pi over 3. Cosine of pi over 3 is 643. So 1 over 2. 1 over 2 squared is 1 over 4. So we get 4 as our slope. Now we know everything we need for the tangent line. So equation of tangent line is y equals y1 plus d dx times x minus x1. Okay, pretty simple. Let's move on to the next one. So g of x equals so-and-so. So let's find our y1. So g of 0, well, 2 times 0 is 0. So uh, we're going to have 0 as our y1. Next, we have to find g prime of x. So this is v, this is u. So v u prime derivative of negative 2x is negative 2. So then minus negative 2x times derivative of v, which is e to the x, over e to the 2x. Okay. So now we can plug in 0, right? So e to the 0 is 1, so negative 2, and plus 2 times 0, so 2, 0, e to the 0, squiggle that out, over e to the 0 equals negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2, right? We squiggled that out because 0 times anything is 0, so we just get left with negative 2 over 1. So now we can write our equation of the tangent line. So y equals y1 plus our slope is x minus x1, and our x1 is 0. So another form is y equals negative 2x. Okay, test prep. Alright, we're almost done. What is the instant rate of change at x equals 4 of the function f of x equals x squared minus 1 over x minus 2? So we have our function, we have our function value. So we're going to do f prime at 4. So f prime of x equals x minus 2 is our v prime, is our v, x squared minus 1 is our u. So v u prime minus u v prime over v squared. Plug in 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 4 squared is 16, minus 1 is 15, times 1, okay, over 4 minus 2 squared. 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4. And so 16 minus 15 is 1, 1 over 4 should be our answer. Okay. Let f and g be differentiable functions with the following properties. F of x is less than 0 for g of 5, for all x, and then g of 5 equals 2. Okay, so if h of x equals f of x over g of x, and h prime equals f prime of x over g of x, and g of x equals, okay, so first of all, let's differentiate h. So h prime of x equals, and then this is our v, our u. So v u prime minus u v prime over g of x squared. Okay. So this has to equal what the given h prime of x. And so it says that g of 5 equals 2 and that f is negative for all points. Okay. So given that h prime of x equals f prime x over g of x, we have to set these equal to each other. So f prime of x over g of x is equal to g of x f prime x minus f of x g prime x over g of x squared. Okay, so let's compare the two sides. On one side, we have everything, and on the other side, we only have f prime of x over g of x. We don't have g prime of x, So we can assume that either f equals 0 or g prime equals 0, right? Why is that? Because when you compare the two equations, one side has g prime, the other one doesn't. So in the side that does have g prime, the product has to equal 0. So either f of x equals 0 or g prime equals 0. However, the question tells us f of x is less than 0. So we know cannot equal 0. So that means g prime has to be 0. And if g prime is 0, then we know that g of x had to be a constant, right? Because the derivative of a constant is 0. So we can eliminate these. And if you want, we can rewrite this, right? Let me rewrite them. Right, so we know that f of x is less than 0 and g prime of x equals 0. So I'm going to rewrite this part right here. So f prime of x over g of x. And then, okay, so since we got rid of that right side, so now we have g of x times f prime of x over g of x squared. G of x cancels out with one of the g of x, so we're left with f prime of x over g of x, right? So we know this holds true. And now the difference between g of x equals 0 and g of x equals 2 is that when g of x equals 0, then that means that this would be undefined. So h prime of x is undefined. Therefore it cannot be 0. And if you use the original equation that we derived right here, if you plug in 0, then you would just have 0 over 0. So it has to be 2. It has to be 2. Okay, next question. The function f is defined by f of x equals x over x plus 4. What points x, y on the graph of f have the property that the line tangent to f at xy has a slope of 1 over 9? Okay, so we have slope of 1 over 9. We have tangent. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to have to do f prime of x. F prime of x is going to have to be 1 over 9. That being said, let's solve for f prime of x. So f prime of x equals, again, label v and u. It's not working. Okay, anyway. So we have v u prime minus u v prime over x plus 4. X minus x is going to be 0. So we get 4 over x plus 4. And remember, f prime of x is given as 1 over 9. So cross multiply 4 times 9, you get 36 equals x plus 4. And then I almost made a mistake here. This should be squared, right? It's over v squared. So now take the square root of both sides. And then again, when you're doing a square root on both sides, you have to have a plus minus. So plus minus 6 equals x plus 4. Gonna go up here. X equals negative 4 plus minus 6. X equals negative 4 plus 6, which is positive 2. And rewrite that. So x either equals positive 2 or the other one is negative 4 minus 6, so negative 2. The only ones that have these x values is going to be C. Alright. Last question. The graph is shown on the right. That's the graph of f. Let g of x equals so-and-so. What is the value of g prime of 4? So to find the value of g prime of 4, we need g prime of x. So we have quotient rule. VU. So v times u prime minus u times v prime divided by v squared. Okay, so we need to find g prime of 4. So g prime of 4 equals f of 4 times 8 minus 15 times f prime of 4 over f4 squared. Okay. Not much space left. Okay, so f of 4 is given in the graph. So f of 4 is 2 times 8. So I'm going to save some space here. Let's do it straight up. So f of 4 is 2 times 8 is 16 minus 15 times f prime of 4. F prime of 4 is going to be the slope of this line, right? So f prime of 4 is going to be, it looks like 1/2, right? Rise over run. So as x increases 2, y only increases 1. So slope is 1/2. So 15 times 1/2, right? Over over f of 4 squared. So f of 4 is 2 squared is 4. And so we get 16 over 4 minus 15 over 2 divided by 4. Common denominator is 8. So we get 32 over 8. And then 15 over 2 divided by 4 is 15 over 8. So minus 15 over 8. 32 minus 15 is 17 over 8. That is our final answer. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Pretty straightforward. As long as you don't make silly mistakes, remember the denominator is squared, it's v squared, and the rest is similar to product rule. And so I hope to see you guys in the next and final lesson of Unit 2. Take care.